everyone. We are back for day 3 of this 4-day workshop called Start Your Journey. And we're talking about what finding your art style is not. So far, we have talked about that it is not always having ideas. And it is not always being fearless. Today, we're going to talk about the fact that finding your art style is not just painting one way, one style, one thing, one subject, one way forever. Because that would be kind of boring. It would take the joy out of creativity in general. And I think a lot of times we may have the idea that when you have found your style, or you have a preconceived idea of what it means just in general to begin with. Hi, Tiffany. And also you think, okay, this person or this artist that I look up to, they have a certain way that they paint. They have a certain thing that they paint. They have a certain style that they seem to be really good at. And so you may have come across that person or that artist at a certain period of time, but in the past, they may not have painted that way. They probably didn't paint that way. And in the future, they may not paint that way. They may choose a different path to go down, and that's okay. And that is part of the fun of creativity. Because if we just boxed ourselves in and we only allowed ourselves to do a certain thing, then it's not going to be fun anymore. And it's not going to be something that, well, it could be something that you could potentially make money from or turn into something that's a professional way of creating. But it's going to be really hard. And it's going to be not very fun. And in my opinion, most artists that I've observed anyway, they may start out doing one thing and change what they do, or they may enjoy multiple mediums. Like some artists may paint landscapes using acrylics and have large scale landscapes in acrylics, but they also may do just pen and ink drawings on a small scale on paper. So I don't want you to think that finding your style is figuring something out, learning how to do it really well, and then just sticking with that one thing forever. Because that's not going to be fun anymore, right? And I also wanted to show you some things of mine. We're going to work on this some more today, but I wanted to show you some things because the way that I paint now is different from the way that I used to paint 4 or 5 years ago, even a few years ago. So this little painting here, those are some flowers that I did using a palette knife. And my palette knife work looks different from my brush work. And that's okay, but it's still mine. This is a more soft, there's still a lot of texture there. It's still really loose, but it's softer. It's different from this. But they're both original to me. So this is my work with a palette knife. This is my work with a brush. And what I'm thinking about doing today, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, is adding some collage elements to my brushwork. So this is a pattern, and I could do something like that. You can't see that, can you? Something like that to add just a little something different, but I don't know if I want to do that or not. So what we're going to do is just play around and see what happens. And that is creativity at work. Okay, so finding your style is not. I want you guys to tell me in the comments, what have we talked about so far? If you've been here for all of our our lives so far. There's one more tomorrow, but what are the 3 things that finding your style is not? Can anybody tell me in the comments? Hi, Teresa and Judy, and who else is here? Tiffany. All right, so I'm going to see if you guys have been listening to me. Also, if you weren't here yesterday, I've got the course, Beyond the Brush, ready to go. And it's ready a little bit early. I was planning on releasing it on Monday, the 19th. But it's ready now, and you guys can grab it. I'm offering an early bird price of $47. And you get the whole course, $47. It's not a recurring payment or anything like that. Let's see what you guys are saying. All right, Tiffany says, number 1, it is not constantly having ideas. That is right. Number 2 is not fearlessness. Very good. Okay, Cynthia says, doing the same thing over and over and never stretching into other mediums or techniques. That is today, yes. And Tiffany says today's number 3 is not having a static style. I like the way you worded that. Okay, great. So you guys are listening. I'm glad. So let's get to work on this and see what we can do today. I've been very disciplined, and I have not worked on this in between our videos, which I really have wanted to, but I have not. Yesterday we added this flower here, and the day before we added this flower, and this one was already here. But we're going to work on this some more, and we're going to just see what happens. I do need to work on this flower some more. It's not making me happy completely. But like I said earlier, I may add some collage elements. This is part of what my style definitely used to be. So in the early days of me painting and creating, I did a lot of collage work. Then I went from collage more into palette knife work, and then I've kind of morphed into the brush with some palette knife. Sometimes I do brush work and add some collage elements, but not as often as I used to. So I'm not sure if I want to do this or not. And when I hold it up, it's not speaking to me. It's not saying, yes, definitely do that. So it may not be something that I want to do. And it may be, that instead of putting it on the flowers, no, I don't even really like that. There's already just a ton of texture underneath because there was a lot of paper added in the past. And when I got all these neutral colored papers out, I was thinking that I might do something like this. I don't know. But I feel like that's taking away from the flowers instead of adding to the flowers. So I think we're going to say no to the collage work. But I also was thinking, I don't know if I want to change the background. So like here, it's green. And let me show you this. I've got some paintings over here that, if I can find one that does what I'm thinking. Like my background, for example, and this one, I don't know if you can see it on the video or not, but the background color is dark, but it's got little hints of color. See that little bit of blue right there and a little bit of yellow right there? So I'm thinking that's what I want to do for the background over here on this one. I don't want it to be solid black. I want it to be dark and moody like this. but I think I'm going to add a little bit of something else. Let's see what you guys are saying. Teresa says the painting's beautiful as it is. No collage. I agree. I'm not going to add any collage. Okay, so we're going to use our big brush again. And let's work on the background some more. And once I get the background the way I want it, then I feel like I can do a better job with my leaves, and we'll see what happens with that. But I'm going to go back to my black and my yellow and white. And let's see what I can come up with. I may get out some more of this burnt sienna because I want to have some buds somewhere. So I want to add in a few buds. And Teresa say no collage, yes, change the background. Karen says I love it. Okay. And Patricia says I agree, collage takes away. I agree too. There's just something about the softness of the brushwork that is making me happy. So I don't want to take that away for sure. All right, and I've got my sweet tea, so let me get a little sip of tea while I think. So we're just going to go for it and start putting in a little bit of green. Can you see this whole thing? I think you can. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start over here and just put this in here and see what it looks like. That is a lot of texture. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. I'm going to bring you closer and let you look. If it'll let me. See, watch. See all that texture showing up? It is a lot of texture. It may be more than I want. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Let's try an even lighter green. That's almost white. I don't know how to do this without just sticking my head right in front of the camera, but that's what I'm gonna have to do, I think. See, that may be too light. I'm just gonna go all the way around this one and see what I think after I get it on there. Okay, I'm gonna have to back up again. And there's a glare, so hold on. See, I don't really like that. See, Tiffany says she likes the texture. It adds variety without distraction. That's true. But I'm not sure about this color I've got going here. It's gonna add, I feel like it's gonna add way too much. I don't like that at all. So just get the black back out and go back. So I want to have a little bit of something in the background, but just not this much crazy stuff. And I think if I tried to do that, then it was going to distract from the leaves and you wouldn't be able to see those at all. So it was just way too busy. But this is how I work through things. I just do it and see what happens. And if it turns out good, great. And if it turns out bad, then you just paint over it and you do something different. So I can still see a little bit of that green in a few spots, and that's not terrible, but I think I'm just going to cover it completely because I just really like the black. So we're going to let this black dry and we're going to work on finishing up this flower here. And we're going to add a few buds. And then we'll see if we need to do anything else. We'll go from there. But we're going to let that dry while we work on some other parts. And I'm going to move my camera over here. Try to aim it down a little bit. Okay. Actually, I think I've got a little too much green right here. So, while I got my black going here, I'm gonna go over some of that too. All right. So we're not going to add any collage and we're not going to change the background. So we are going to fix some flowers and make some buds. Okay, so for this one over here, we started it yesterday. I'm going to just work on it a little bit more in a few spots. I've got to back up so I can see what I'm doing here. right, so I darkened some of this in the middle, and that's going to help to make the petals out here show up more. Or come, the ends of the petals will come forward if they're lighter, if that makes sense. I'm gonna have to hold my white in my hand and do this, so. Can you see how that comes forward? And I need to blend it just a little bit because you don't want it to be too harsh. Or there may be some spots where you just put a little hint of the color and get it a little bit darker. Okay, and over here I want to bring that out. So this just kind of separates the petals a little and makes it a little more believable. Okay, so now let's add some buds, and I've got a few down here already, and they are pretty dark, and these flowers are not very dark, so we probably need to change that up a little bit and have a lighter color for our bud. So let's do one up here. And if you want it to be kind of pushed back and not quite so obvious, you can add a little bit of black to it. So we're going to do one there. Let's do one about right here. That just doesn't want to show up. There we go. Okay, so we got one there and one there. So that's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to lighten that one up down here. Now let's put, we're going to put some more leaves in a few spots. So I'm not going to go crazy with the buds. See, Tiffany says, is that just burnt sienna with white? It has more of a blush tint to it than my burnt sienna does. It is. That's all it is. But this is the Artist Loft brand, and there's a little bit of a difference. There is a difference in the colors of different brands of paints. So I've noticed that the golden is a little bit, it's just richer. So it's going to take a lot more white to get that blush color. And you may have to add a little bit of pink to it also. Alright, so let's see. We got the bud there, so let's make it a little, I need a little white. And over here, you don't really need a whole lot of details to make it look like a bud. But let me stand back and see where I think I need to add some more leaves. And I know that we need some here, at least one or two. Because we've got this flower going this way, and we don't want everything to be leaning this way. We want to have a little movement in different directions. I feel like that one needs to be bigger. And this paint is drying out on me a little bit, so I need to work faster. So I think I need a little something here. And I may add a few little fillers. I'm gonna add the idea of some green up here. In a few spots. And I'm not sure I like the way that leaf looks, so let's just cover him up. Okay. So now is when I stand back, take a look at it, and decide, do I want to change anything? Let me see if I can do this. There, you can see all of it now. And what do I want to add or take away? Or do I like it the way it is? And I think I want to add just a little bit of some like white, what would maybe be baby's breath. And I've got to find a good brush that I could use for that because it needs to be really scraggly. And I'm sure I've got one because I'm very, very hard on my brushes. This one's too stiff. But look at this. Can you see how scraggly that brush is? I'm going to use that and make some baby's breath. And I'm going to fluff it out. And let's see, where can we place it? So I'm going to get some on my brush and then I'm going to tap it on my palette. And you see how my brush looks? That is how I get the look of baby's breath. So I definitely think we need a little bit of something right in here. And maybe something right here. So we'll just tap and see. I'm probably going to need to bring you closer. All right, let's move over. I don't even have to put in any kind of stems on this if I don't want to. And you see how it's giving me that soft look of some baby's breath. The whole canvas is moving. All right, so we've got some there. Where else should we put it? Maybe down here, of course, where you can't see. I'm gonna move it back again. I showed you my little method, so I'll move it back so you can get a better picture of all of it. Patricia's asking me about the writing at the bottom. Yes, I wrote a Bible verse at the bottom. It's Proverbs 31:31. And it says, give her the fruit of her hands. So, let me stand back here and take a look. So this side is all full. Over here we've got a lot of empty space. So we're going to need some filler around in here. We may even need some more leaves. We're just gonna, and I don't know if this is completely dry. But we're just gonna do this and see what happens. A chair in the way. Okay, that's looking better. So I'm gonna have one more. I think I'm gonna put one more spot of that right here. And I'm gonna overlap the stem a little bit with it, because when you overlap elements in your, especially in your florals, it makes it look more realistic. So we've got 3 spots of it up there. Let's put some down here somewhere. maybe right in here. And it's possible that you may put too much of something and you have to go back and go over it and change it. Okay, so we're gonna leave this and come back to the leaves. Maybe. Let's see. That really softened it and made it prettier to me, I think. Okay, yay, Patricia agrees. And I just feel like it needs a little something else. I just don't know what it is yet. So you guys let me know, what do you think? Do you think it needs some more leaves, some bigger leaves, a different color of something? I feel like right here is lacking. And it may just be that we have to, I feel like the top of the canvas is kind of empty. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So, I may have to come back to it tomorrow. So tomorrow, we'll be back here at 2 o'clock and we'll talk about our last part of this series. So we've so far talked about that finding your style is not always having ideas. It's not being fearless. And today we talked about that it is not always painting the exact same thing all the time or having a static style, as Tiffany said. Let's see. More leaves in the corner and another bud. The baby's breath added so much individual green leaves, but not a lot at the top. You guys have some good ideas. Another bud. Pale blue baby's breath. Okay, so since I'm kind of stuck, this is where we're going to stop for today. And tomorrow, we're going to finish this up. So you guys can come back here tomorrow and help me out. But tomorrow is our last video in this little series that we're doing. It's all going to be here on my Facebook page, but it's also over on my blog and it's on my YouTube channel. So anytime you want to go back and watch, you can. And like I said at the beginning of the video, we have the Beyond the Brush course ready early, and you guys can jump into that if you want to. And it's $47 through Monday the 19th. And after that, the price will go up to $57. So it's still affordable, but right now there's an early bird price. So I hope that this has been fun for you. I'm going to control myself, and I'm not going to go back to this and try to paint anything until tomorrow. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 2. Have a good day. Bye.